Hey there, kids. I'm Mr. Worldwide. Welcome to the Climate Club. Today, we'll be learning all about energy.
When I think about energy, I think about running, jumping, skipping. But the type of energy we're talking about today is the energy that produces electricity and also heats our homes and other buildings. So we're in a solar farm today, which is one of the places that produces energy. There are two types of this energy, and they are renewable and fossil fuels. Coal, gas and oil, the oil that gets converted into petrol and diesel, which we use in our cars, are all examples of fossil fuels. They are made of carbon, and they were produced by ancient plants and animals that died and got buried underground for thousands of years and over time became fossil fuels. For hundreds of years, we've been digging up those fossil fuels and burning them for energy, and over the last 100 years, that has massively increased. The energy they produce creates all the electricity we use to power our lights and our electrical equipment like our TVs. They sound great, don't they? But the downside to fossil fuels is that when they are burnt to produce the energy, they release the carbon they're made of, and that goes up into the atmosphere. You'll remember that carbon is a greenhouse gas. So all of that carbon entering the atmosphere is helping to increase the temperature of the planet. There are alternatives though, and that is renewable energy. Renewable energy is using things like wind, the sun, and tidal power, so the waves in the sea, to create energy. When that energy is being produced, it doesn't release any kind of carbon or greenhouse gases, so we refer to them as clean energies. Yep, clean as a whistle. We're finding that more and more energy is being produced using renewable energy. And very soon, we won't be using any fossil fuels. All of it will be provided by renewable energy. We're here today at Solar Farm to find out how solar energy works. We're going to speak to Dave, who works for GridServe, and they own this solar farm. Hi Dave, thanks for coming today and answering our questions. Do you want to just explain what you do here at the solar farm?
I'm a field service engineer based on multiple solar sites, and I look after basically everything inside the perimeter wire, which is the panels, the structure which the panels sit on, the inverters, and then going on to the transformers.
Can you explain why it's called a solar farm?
It's in the name really, because we're going to use the sun to get onto the solar panels, which will be absorbed, and then we're going to convert that into energy. But because it's solar and sun, they go together.
Can you explain how the sun is used to create electricity and how it gets to our homes?
First of all, we need the sun to hit the panels, which are behind me. And the panels are made up of loads and loads of wafers of silicon and some other exotic chemicals. But as the sun's energy passes through the silicon, it stimulates energy flow, it's current, and lots of this energy flow then ultimately converts into panels, pound electricity, which you see behind me. So I've got loads and loads of panels behind me. So there's little bits of energy from each panel, and they're all collected together, and then they'll go to the inverter.
So how many homes does this solar farm provide electricity for?
Really good question, because it all depends on how you're going to use your electricity. So if you've got lots of Xboxes, TVs, mum and dad are cooking in the kitchen with their oven on, perhaps you're going to use a hairdryer. It's all about energy efficiency. So this site here, anything from maybe 10,000 homes, but if you're not very good at looking after electricity, maybe 5,000 if you're lucky.
Is solar power better than wind power and tidal power for producing electricity in the UK?
At the moment, it's pretty windy here. We haven't got a lot of sun. So the answer to that question is we need a multitude of sources. So when it's sunny, we need sun. When it's windy, obviously we need the wind. But there's going to be days where, say it's foggy, and there's going to be no wind and there's going to be no sun. So you're going to have to use an alternative. And that's where tidal may be coming in. So one energy source is not the answer.
How much of the electricity in the UK is produced by renewables at the moment?
It's all going to depend on the weather. But for today, I think wind is going to be doing probably 30%, and solar not very much, sadly.
How many solar farms like this do we require so we can stop using fossil fuels in the future?
Fossil fuels are not here forever, so we need as many alternate sources. So in any place that we can build solar, we want to be doing wind as well, and looking really heavily into tidal as well. And then maybe somebody at school now that will be thinking as a bit of a scientist may come up with another source.
Thanks very much for your time, Dave. It's been really interesting.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jane and Dave. And you too.
No worries.